Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sunday night live stream for studentloanjustice.org. It is Sunday, August 27th, 2023. Hope everybody is doing well out there in the world. I've got a couple of announcements. We published an article yesterday, very important, talking about, remember the new bankruptcy process that Joe Biden unveiled last year, sort of late last year, last November? Well, we're finally getting in some data, guys, and the data is terrible. In fact, it's exactly what we predicted. And we wrote an article about it here, and I'm going to share my screen with you real quick just to take you through it quickly. You can see this at studentloanjustice.medium.com. You can see this and many more very true, unreported, largely, although this one was reported, largely unreported research that we have done over many years, but certainly over the past 3 years. Some of this stuff is jaw-dropping, guys. The news media simply is not reporting much of this stuff. So Joe Biden announced a new bankruptcy process last year that supposedly was going to make it easier for borrowers to discharge their student loans in bankruptcy. Well, here we are 11 months in, and it's proving to be a cruel, dangerous joke for borrowers. And I'll just tell you, here are the numbers. As of like last week, it was reported that 44 people, fewer than 44 people, doesn't say how many fewer, it could be many more than many less few, many fewer than 44 people have gotten any sort of relief through this new bankruptcy process. Something like 460 people have tried. So we're talking about less than 10%, maybe well less than 10% of the people who tried the new bankruptcy process getting anything. And you have to remember, guys, this new bankruptcy process still requires you to file for bankruptcy, still requires you to pay thousands of dollars additionally to do what's called an adversarial proceeding, where they can determine whether you have undue hardship or not. The only difference between this system and the way it was before was that instead of a judge deciding your undue hardship or not, the Department of Education decides, which is exactly the fox guarding the hen house. The Department of Education has never had any desire or intentions of canceling any of these loans by executive order or any other, and through bankruptcy or by any other means. They hate canceling loans. And lo and behold, here I can now say that the early data is in, and it proved us absolutely correct in our prediction that this thing would be a bunch of nonsense, and it is. So the only thing that I would say is give this article, if you would please, spread the word. Give this article as many claps as you can. I think you can clap like 50 times for it. If you go to the bottom of the article, you can clap. Please do that. But here is the most important point. And this is the last paragraph of this article. This is really the most important line of the whole article. President Biden could easily tomorrow scrap this entire process and call on the Department of Education, and I guess Justice as well, who've involved themselves with this. He could call on them to simply stop opposing student loan borrowers in bankruptcy proceedings. That's what the original intent of this thing was. This process started with us, so you know. We spoke to Joe Biden's campaign manager back in like March or April 2020. We spoke with James Cavall before he was undersecretary. And the original idea for this whole thing was simply that the Department of Education would stop opposing student loan borrowers in bankruptcy court. Therefore, when people file for bankruptcy and they do their undue hardship claim, their adversarial proceeding, the Department of Education would demur. They would not oppose the claim. So therefore, the loans would revert to being treated the same as all other loans in bankruptcy. Very simple. And what we got was not that. It was the opposite of that. It was dog shit. Well, I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that the undue hardship thing, for lack of a better word, is vague, ill-defined, ambiguous, so much so that the president can very justifiably say, look, nobody's ever defined what this undue hardship thing is. Some judges go one way, some judges go the other way. We're gonna just not even consider it at all, and we're gonna not oppose student loan borrowers in their adversarial proceedings in bankruptcy court. And voila, student loans. I'm still no guarantee that you get a full discharge, but it depends on the wisdom of a bankruptcy judge. As all other loans are treated in bankruptcy, so will student loans too be treated in bankruptcy. That's not too much to ask. In fact, that is the very moderate middle ground. So if Biden wants to have any chance of salvaging any support from student loan borrowers, and believe me, guys, people are not stupid. People may not be lawyers and know the law, may not be following this issue as closely as we are, but they can feel in their bones when they're being screwed. And people can tell when the Democrats are half-hearted at best about student loans. And clearly they are. And this new bankruptcy process is just obvious, an obvious symptom of that. And so if Joe Biden wants to shore up his support, regain his lost support among student loan borrowers, this is exactly what he would do. I think it would be largely immune to legal challenge, but who cares? He's either going to stand up for us or he's going to stand up for the colleges and this lending scam. So far, he has stood up for the colleges and this lending scam. That's what he's done. And people are not stupid. I'm seeing everywhere, all over the internet, people are bitterly disappointed in Joe Biden and the Democrats. Now, these loan cancellations that they're throwing around right now, like they're throwing nickels around. They're throwing nickels around like they're manhole covers. That's only 2% of all borrowers, guys. And Joe Biden could cancel $116 billion in federal student loans every 2.5 years, like he's did over the past 2.5 years. And the loan portfolio would still grow by $1.5 trillion over the next 10 years because interest and new loans. So guys, I don't know who the Democrats or Joe Biden or whoever, I don't know who they're trying to fool, but they're certainly not fooling us and they shouldn't be fooling you. And if they want to prove that they're actually serious, which clearly they have up to this point have not, that is what they will do. So a couple of announcements. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention. We should be seeing some very good media coming out for us in a national newspaper. I suspect probably this week, maybe next week, but probably this week. So I will let you know when that happens. On fundraising, guys, we still need to raise, I think, $80 this week for this past week's expenses. So, and I'm sorry to have to ask for donations, guys. I truly am, but we simply will not exist without your modest support. So if 4 people donate $20 tonight, like if 4 people watching this live stream were to donate $20, that would fulfill our costs, our expenses for this past week. We're going to have to raise, I'm not even sure how much next week. I have to look at things. We'll probably have to raise somewhere around $500 or $600 next week. I'm not sure, but whatever, guys, just please donate so I can shut up about it because I really suck at fundraising, and fundraising should be the least of our worries. We are the oldest and the largest true grassroots group fighting for student loan justice, and we are the only group that is fighting this battle in a way that will actually solve it. We can beg and plead and demand student loan cancellation until the cows come home. And as long as we don't have the leverage, not that anybody would have to file, nobody would have to file. As long as we don't have the leverage of bankruptcy protections on our side, as this leverage exists for every other type of loan in this country, we're going to be begging Joe Biden or the next president forever to cancel loans. And what we'll get is the bullshit that we've already seen. Pardon my French. So I had planned on keeping tonight's live stream pretty short. and I think I will live up to that. But I will just say the one action item I have for you, please make it your mission to get us into a meeting with your member of the House of Representatives this week, like tomorrow. Call their office and tell them you want to meet with your House Reps judiciary staffer. And look at the thing scrolling below. You can see all of our contact info. Tell them you want to meet with them to talk about student loans, to talk about returning bankruptcy protections to student loans. Tell them that you want to bring us onto the meeting, and we will do most or all of the talking if we have to. We're trying to make this very easy for you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you can appreciate that fact. But it's got to start with you because you're a constituent. We are not. We can't just get those meetings because they will blow us off. They pretty much won't blow you off because you are a constituent. So get us into a meeting and we will do all the heavy lifting. Okay, so I'm looking for, let me kill that. Okay, so I'm looking for your questions, comments now. I'm looking forward to a very strong week, guys. You know, hopefully I don't have to tell you, interest begins clicking off on these loans for the first time in 3 years now or something? Since March 2020. So that's like over 3 years. Interest finally is going to start being tacked onto our loans again next week. And last time I checked, guys, we still don't have bankruptcy rights on our side. That is the toothpick of power that will save us from being absolutely devoured and destroyed by the student debt collection industry. You know, the debt collection industry wants nothing more than to see these loans turned back on and for the constitutionally enshrined right of bankruptcy to remain gone. That's about to happen, guys. It's about to happen. And I don't care what they say about this on-ramp and so forth. Interest is going to begin clicking off, and they will be hounding us incessantly. And they can get away with a lot, guys. I don't care what this on-ramp thing is all about or not. It doesn't matter. They can harass us and make our lives very difficult. And they will. And they're going to do everything possible to get you to rehabilitate your loans, consolidate your loans. They're going to try and muscle you into signing for a new loan and some new, much larger loan, some way, shape, or form. It's going to get ugly. We have got to have the constitutional right of bankruptcy back on our side, as the founding fathers called for it, ahead of the power to declare war and raise an army in the U.S. Constitution. I know if you're new to the group, you're saying, why does this guy keep talking about bankruptcy? I don't want to file for bankruptcy. Nobody wants to file for bankruptcy, least of all me. That is not important. Nobody should even have to file. It's just having the leverage of bankruptcy back on our side as it exists for all other loans in this country. We've got to get that power reinstated. Otherwise, we're screwed forever, and they can do whatever they want for as long as they want for the rest of your and my natural life. And that is what they will do. We've been at this for 18 very long years, ladies and gentlemen. So please just take it from me. I don't bullshit. I don't lie. We're not pimping this problem like the other groups are. We want to solve this problem. I'm a defaulted student loan borrower. I want these loans gone. And I know that will never happen unless and until we at first get the constitutionally enshrined leverage of bankruptcy returned. It's the most important thing I'll say tonight, guys. So, you know what, guys? I think I'm going to leave it at that. I think I'm going to keep this live stream very short. If I wasn't able to see your comments, I apologize. I will be back tomorrow, but please just remember what I said. Get us into a meeting this coming week with your House rep. It's the least you can do. Over 18 years of doing this, we have learned the hard way that when nobody does anything, meaning you sitting there, nothing gets done. If you sit there and wait and watch and worry and let yourself be distracted by Forbes magazine and the other bullshit groups that are just trying to sell you stuff like loan counseling and just bullshit, Nothing will happen. If you wait and you watch and you worry and you wonder what they are going to do with student loans, what they are going to do with student loans is wreck you for the rest of your life and put their own kids through college, expensive college, for free on your back. That's what they are going to do with student loans, as long as you sit there and do nothing. Now, to those of you out there who are doing our daily actions, let me dial that in for you. Those of you who are doing our daily actions at a minimum, those of you who are writing letters to the editor of your local newspaper, those of you who are getting full-on articles published, those of you who are getting us into meetings with your House reps, you know I salute you. We are the pilgrims. We are the pioneers. We are not only the tip of the spear, we are the entire spear in the fight in the United States for actual student loan justice. We're it. And you all have a lot to be proud of. What we have gotten done over the past 3.5 years, despite that Supreme Court thing that killed, at least for the time being, our what started on our group with the idea, the concept of the president canceling student loans by executive order. I kid you not, it's true. We started that. It came from this group. We have a lot to be proud of, but we have to take this day by day. And the reality right now is that the loans get turned back on in October, and we have got to get our bankruptcy rights back. When we get bankruptcy back, they're going to have to cancel loans, guys. They're going to have to cancel loans broadly, meaningfully, deeply. Not 2% of all borrowers, but far larger, very large, broad swaths of student loan debt will they have to cancel. But that's only going to happen when we get bankruptcy back. So to those of you who are doing the hard work, I salute you. It's frankly quite astonishing. It's remarkable what this little group has managed to get done in the past 4 years. And we have a lot to be proud of, but we're not at the finish line yet, guys. There's still this last leg to go, and this is going to be the hardest. Just is. Things are going to get ugly for us. The student loan swamp has managed to thwart us at every step in the way, and things could get very, very, very ugly for us going forward. So we need you more than ever. And if you haven't been helping, you better help. If you have no intention of helping us by, at a minimum, doing our daily actions, well, then you can just get the fuck off this group. Pardon my French, but we don't want you here. You're bad karma, and shame on you. Grow a pair and come back when you have found an ounce of courage to fight with us. Feels good to fight this fight. Feels cathartic to fight this fight. I think most people will agree. Most people who have been fighting this battle will agree. Every generation has their own battle to fight. This is apparently our battle. And remember, guys, this doesn't end with student loans. If they can do to other loans what they've done to student loans, and they can, if we let them, if we let this precedent stand, they will. They will remove bankruptcy from all consumer debt if they can get away with it. And we will be a conquered and enslaved country, to play off of a famous John Adams quote from like 1810 or something like that. But it's true, guys. There's a lot more writing on this than you might imagine. You are way more important than you might imagine in this fight. So hop to it, jump in. The water's fine. Grab your battle rattle, whatever you need to do to get yourself out of bed in the morning and helping us with this fight. As I said, it feels good to fight this fight. And the diehards on this group will agree. It feels good to fight this fight. And we need you more than ever, guys. A lot of our most active members have mysteriously, maybe even suspiciously, all of a sudden gotten their loans canceled through this nonsense that Biden's done. And good for them. We congratulate everybody who's been getting their loans canceled. But, we may be losing our best, most effective people. And, who knows? But we need you sitting there more than ever. And if you've never done anything, you need to turn over a new leaf. It feels very good to fight this fight. Founding fathers are on our side. The Constitution is on our side. 38 million people losing sleep over their student loans would be on our side if they knew about us. And they will know about us when you tell them about us, I should say. So I don't know what more I can say, but I'll be back tomorrow and the battle continues. Good luck. God bless. And Godspeed, everyone.